Ooh, welcome everybody to Wager Talk Today, the best daily sports betting show on the planet. We've got so much betting information coming your way. Marco D'Angelo is going to join us right off the bat. He's going to look at how to bet the wild card round in the NFL. It starts tomorrow. He's got an angle for that. He's going to also look at how to bet NFL playoff futures. We got Baltimore and Pittsburgh tomorrow. Marco's got a bet for us on that. He's also going to look at Minnesota and the Rams. Yes, it sounds like the Marco D'Angelo show, but don't you worry. Andy Lang after that with some prop bets. We got some Dave Mason coming from Bet Online, and we're going to end the show with Gianni the Greek. I'm Lawrence Presman. Welcome again, Marco D'Angelo. Nice to have you, my friend. Has 2025 been as kind to you so far as 2024 was to your bank account?
Well, it hasn't hurt so far, that's for sure. But we got some big numbers to try to duplicate from last year, Prez. And hopefully I'll get that started with a big 5% tomorrow in the NFL. So let's just keep it going. We were in play last night in the playoff game. What a game that was last night. I was on Penn State, but fortunately I did have them on a teaser. And I know you're never supposed to bet teasers in college football, but that was such a low total last night and looked like it was going to be a defensive game that was the exception to do it, and really never had to sweat that one with the teaser there, getting it over the touchdown.
Yeah, so I was in play last night as well, and I had a 5% on the under, so that worked out really, really well for me till the second half started. 3-0 with 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. And I couldn't get this game under the total. And I blame the refs, Marco. There was a glaring, blatant missed holding call on Penn State's on the drop. 2 plays prior to the Penn State touchdown that would have put them in 3rd and long and probably forced a field goal. And the made-up pass interference call. Marco, how does a college football semifinal get what's the word? Basically, the conclusion of such an important game gets decided by one guy, like one dude who has a brain aneurysm and loses his freaking mind and literally decides who gets to go to the championship game. Oh, well, move on. Anything to add there?
No, Prez, it can be frustrating sometimes watching games. And the only thing I'll say for Penn State, it sucks for them that, the key play of the game, the Notre Dame touchdown that they got towards the end of the game was, a receiver or defender falling down. And then I don't know what James Franklin was thinking about trying to attack with just under 40 seconds left in the game. Go to overtime. You haven't really moved the ball in chunks the whole game. Why to try to do that? And if you remember the Notre Dame Georgia game, the exact same thing happened at the end of the first half. And Georgia self-destructed there. And kudos, they got out-coached. Marcus Freeman is, in my opinion, the best coach of the 4 that was left. There's no question about that.
No question about it, even though it's in his opinion. Marco D'Angelo joining us, one of the co-founders of Wager Talk and a really good dude. Marco, let's get into some betting for the NFL. We've got a big NFL weekend ahead of us. Obviously, it's Wildcard week, lots of games. You got an angle for us on betting the Wildcard round. As a bettor, I am curious what this angle is.
Well, what I like to look at, and you don't get many of them, and I'll give you the example that it is for this particular round. Everybody looks at, teams coming in hot or teams backing in, whatever. I like to look at a team that was in a must-win situation on the final Sunday of the regular season. It was a win and they were in, and I want to take those type of teams. Why? Well, my thinking of that is because when you get into the wild card round, then you basically already played a playoff game last week. You had the win to get in. And if you remember last year, there was a game on Saturday night. It was Indianapolis in Houston. Winner gets in, loser goes home. Who was that winner? It was the Houston Texans. What'd they do in their first round playoff game? They blew out the Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco. Now, this year, that team that fits that mold is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had to win their game last Sunday to get in. They couldn't finish in a tie with Atlanta because Atlanta owned the tiebreaker. They had to win to keep that one-game lead, win, and they were in, and they did it. They had to come from behind to do it, in fact, in the fourth quarter. So that would be the team that would fit that mold this year for that particular angle.
Yeah, so Marco, why wasn't the Chargers in playoff mode? Just out of curiosity, given that, Jim Harbaugh said we're coming to win. Why wasn't Green Bay in playoff mode, in must-win mode? What defines must-win to you? They have to make the playoffs? So Tampa Bay tried a little harder than Green Bay? I don't think so.
No, the difference between those examples that you're saying, Prez, Green Bay was already in the playoffs. The Chargers were already in the playoffs. All they could do was better their seeding. Tampa Bay they had to win. They weren't in the playoffs yet. They had to win that game to get in. That's the difference. I don't look at it where a team bettered their position the final Sunday. This was you had to win to get in.
Marco D'Angelo joining us. Marco, let's talk about some NFL playoff future bets. I normally don't make these type of bets. Firstly, I don't love my money getting tied up for a long time, and secondly, I find it mathematically advantageous if you think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl to just roll your money all the way through on the money line. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this.
Well, you just took the whole segment, Prez, because that's exactly what I was going to tell you. And I know we have a lot of bookmakers on, and you'll have Dave Mason on later. And, they would rather you take the preset odds because it's a bigger household for the books on those. But almost 95% of the time or even higher, if you just take the team you want to bet and make that, 1 unit wager and then just continue rolling it over through the different rounds of the playoff, you will end up with a higher payout at the end than if you took the preset odds that will be there at the beginning of the playoffs. And that's the way to do it. That's the public service announcement for us for this show. So, Prez, we're thinking alike. And yes, you do know the way to do it. And that is what I was going to talk about. So we can move on.
Well, Marco, I'm actually going to move backwards. Let's talk about the Denver Broncos. So rumor has it they were in must-win mode. I'd like to discuss them based on your angle. You mentioned Tampa Bay. Denver loses and they're out. So they're in must-win mode. How many points will they beat the Bills by?
They're not going to beat the Bills, but they could cover that game. There's no question about that one. But yes, Denver was in must-win as well. That was a combination of one where they had to. If they could have actually lost that game and still got in, depending on Miami and Cincinnati. But when Cincinnati did win on Saturday, that forced them into the must-win road. So that would be the other team.
Yep. So angles, statistics, data, history suggests that Denver plus the points and Tampa Bay are the right sides. That doesn't necessarily mean they will cover, but if you play that over and over again, the math will work out, and they are EV bets. Okay, Marco, Pittsburgh playing Baltimore, and this is a really fascinating game. You got a Baltimore team that goes over every time they walk out on the field, unless they play Pittsburgh. They did go over in their last matchup, and it was a substantial over. But prior to that, I think it was like 622 times in a row it went under. 45 times it was literally 17-10. And here we have this line just continues to drop. I like the over in this game. I just can't seem to get myself away from it. And I'm just going to wait and watch to see if it continues to drop. As of now, I'm passing in this game, but I personally lean on the over. I'm very curious how you're going to bet a game at -9.5, especially with these teams knowing each other as well as they do.
Well, Prez, what I'm going to do, and obviously you know that this is a game that I'll have, a little bit of interest in because of my allegiance to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But as you know, I like money more than I like the Steelers. And to me, the angle that I have found with these two teams, historically, you're correct. These have been games that generally have been decided by 3 points more often than not. And Pittsburgh, believe it or not, has had the upper hand on Baltimore. As dominant as Baltimore has been over the last 5 years, Pittsburgh has still owned them. And part of the reason is because the spread comes into play, and it also is the coaching philosophies of the two. And so what I'm going to give you here, I'm going to sound like Joe Ranieri, our buddy, coming with a first half wager, but that is where I'm going with this game. And I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens first half line -6. And here's the reasoning for that. If you look at Baltimore, in the first half of since 2005, the last 20 meetings between these two teams, Baltimore is actually 17-3 on the first half line against the spread against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, here's an angle since 2022. They are 2-10 against the spread in the first half when playing on the road, if they're playing on grass like they are in Baltimore. Now, the reason for that, you're going to say, okay, why are you looking at something like that? Well, we know that Baltimore gets out to quick starts. That's Harbaugh's coaching style. But then once he gets the lead, he has a tendency to take his foot off the gas and protect the lead, and we've seen teams come back against him. Mike Tomlin is the exact opposite. Mike Tomlin's philosophy is don't lose the game in the first quarter. Don't take chances. Don't have turnovers. He preaches turnovers all the time. His motto is, I want to be close and win the game in the fourth quarter. And too often we see the Steelers, then they open things up, then they start to go to hurry up, and then they come back because they've only a one-possession game. So I'm going to ride that theory. We've got the numbers that support it. We've got the coaching philosophies that support it. You know what? If it ain't broke, Prez, don't fix it. Let's lay 6 first half with Baltimore.
Marco, our good pal Andrew Wadge in the chat room every day, he asks, is Pittsburgh the worst team in the playoffs? I'm going with yes.
I've said it all along, Prez. You know how much I like the Steelers. Every week during the season leading up to when they hit that stretch of the schedule that was going to kill them, I said, hey, Pittsburgh's the worst, 10 and whatever they were team. This is a team that had an easy schedule at the beginning of the season, but there was no way they were going to navigate that last 8 games of the season, especially the last 5 weeks where they had that 3 game in 11 days and all against playoff teams or division rivals. It was just, a gauntlet of teams that they had to face.
Marco, we got raging fires in LA. And firstly, shout out to everybody who's experiencing that situation, who has loved ones down there. It is horrible, horrific. I can't stand the fact that it's been politicized, but that's a different story. I have loved ones that are currently, I have a friend of mine who just lost his house, literally watched his house burn to the ground in 5 minutes. That's an impressive amount of time for a house to burn to the ground. So my condolences, my love, my care to all of you guys who are experiencing that situation. This, however, is a betting show, and we are always looking for ways to make money. We have a change of venue in the Minnesota Rams game on Monday night. How does this change affect our bets?
Okay, first thing, Prez, and this is something that I'm sure you'll talk with Dave Mason later on more, but check your particular book if you already have a wager. Most books are
Yeah.
going to rule this as a no bet because they changed the venue. Even though it's being played the same day, it's a change of venue, so it'll be a no bet. You will have to rebet the game at the new line. Now, speaking of that new line, we've seen the line rise because the Rams are no longer the home team. It's a neutral site. But really, Prez, and forget everything that's going on. And I don't want to diminish what's going on in LA, but let's talk if everything was normal in LA and LA was playing at home. That's the least value of a home field probably in the NFL. We know that.
Yes.
We've seen it. Okay, so now that they're adding points to this game because it's a change of venue, to me, the value has gone to the Rams. And where the other value is and how I will play this game if I'm involved in the game, there's only one way, and that is to use the Rams in teasers. You're going to tease this up and get it over the touchdown in this game. I'm going to say this much to you, Prez. I think Minnesota is built to make a deep run in the playoffs. However, I'm going to put an asterisk to that, and I feel the toughest game for the Minnesota Vikings is going to be this game immediately following that Detroit Lion game last week. We used the phrase, and our beloved friend introduced me to this angle when I did radio shows with him and Dave Koken. He said a team can lose the same game twice. And that was such a huge game last week with them. I know this is the playoffs and everything, but you went from possibly the number 1 seed to end up being the number 5 seed to now changing venues and everything else. If Minnesota gets by and wins this game, I think they make a deep run. But this will be tough for them. I think this is absolutely a one-possession game either way. And if you look at the Vikings all year, they've been a team that has played a bunch of close games. That's the way they play. I like the Rams on a teaser here. I'm going to find some opportunities to hook them with some teams. That's the way I am looking at that Monday night game.
Guys, Marco D'Angelo has a 5% play up tomorrow. You guys can get it over at WagerTalk.com, or you can buy his entire playoff package. You can get that for 25% off the regular price. Use the promo code PLAYOFFS. You can also get 7 days all access from Marco D'Angelo for only $77. Use that promo code MD77. And Marco just came off, honestly, and Marco, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the best sports betting calendar year of your life, right?
It definitely, we've been doing this for 46 years, Prez, and yes, it was definitely, if it wasn't number 1, it was top 3 for sure.
There we go. Marco, you got a real quick angle you wanted to discuss. Then I got to let you go. We got Andy Lang, Dave Mason, and Gianni still up. I've got an NHL play I want to give out as well. So tell us about this game that you want to talk about. It is a Washington-Michigan game. It's in college basketball, and it goes to on Sunday.
Sunday.
Why did you pick this game to discuss?
All right, you know that I like to look at games and find scheduling spots, bad spots, look-ahead spots, or as I like to say, fat and sassy spots. And this is an absolute fat and sassy spot for Michigan. They cracked the top 25. They're number 24. They're coming off a week where they played 2 games in LA. They went to play USC and they went to play UCLA, big names in college basketball. They won both of those games in their first road trip to those 2 teams in the new conference. We know the Pac-12 teams that moved over. Now they're coming home. They will be a double-digit favorite on Sunday, probably 16, 17-point favorite, playing a Washington team that just literally got blown out by 34 points last night. You're going to get line value with Washington, and I think Michigan's going to come up a little flat on Sunday. Take a look at Washington plus the points, a big number on Sunday.
There you go, Marco D'Angelo, everyone. Check him out at Wager Talk. Marco, thanks for joining us. And look, from a fan perspective, I hope your Steelers give you a lot of joy. From a betting perspective, I hope Baltimore wins in the first half. Get out of here, my brother. Lots of love. Andy Lang will be joining us in a minute or two. Before we get into that, again, as I mentioned, I did lose my 5% play yesterday. I had the under in the Penn State Notre Dame game. I felt it was the right call. Wrong result, but the roll continues. We went 2-2 yesterday. We won both our basketball plays, 7-1 NBA run currently. We lost our NHL play, so now I'm on a 14-3 NHL run. Tonight, I have your bet on the college football semifinal game. I also have one NBA, one college basketball, and one NHL play. My menu for tomorrow is one NFL play tomorrow and 2 on Sunday. So check that out. If you guys want my NFL playoffs for free, and I'm coming into the playoffs on a 14-2 run, all you got to do is buy my NHL package for 1 month, $179. You get that NHL all the way through for a month plus NFL till the Super Bowl. We got a bunch of you guys jumped on that over the last 3 days. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. Andy Lang joining us. Andy, that was a hell of a segment by Marco, dude. 20 minutes of pure gold. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Yeah. Listen, shout out to Marco. He passed me in the units won in 2024, right there at the very end. He crushed it down the stretch. So,
dude, I got
amazing.
Yeah, I got text messages from Marco. I can't believe my year. This is the best betting year of my life. I'm text messaging back. I can't believe my year. This is the worst betting year of my life. So, and Marco would text me and be like, my run is done. And then he'd win 10 more in a row. And I would text him, I hope my run is done. We were coming at 2024 from a very different perspective. With that said, I'm kicking ass in 2025, so let's hope that continues. Andy, let's keep going, bro. We got a lot more to talk about. You got a prop bet for us on Jalen Hurts and one on Mark Andrews. Let's get into both of them.
Yeah, I really like Jalen Hurts not to throw an interception this week. I think this sets up for a really nice Eagles game here. Shout out to producer Dan and his Eagles. Listen, Jalen Hurts only has one interception in the last 12 games. He threw 2 interceptions in the first game of the season against Green Bay, but that was that weird turf when they were playing in Brazil, I think it was. I just don't expect them to make those same kind of mistakes. And there's a chance the Eagles are playing with a lead here. Jordan Love's battling an injury. Christian Watson is out. Saquon Barkley is rested. I just wonder if this Green Bay team has peaked a little bit too early in the season, and you're getting an Eagles team that's lost 1 time since like October. So if they get a lead, they're going to run the ball. This is not going to be a game where Jalen Hurts needs to throw it 40 times. So I think he plays it safe. I don't think he puts the ball in harm's way. He's done an absolutely fantastic job protecting the ball over the last couple months. So I'm going to take him to not throw an interception. And we've talked all week about Lamar Jackson to throw 1.5 touchdown passes to go over on that one. Let's take Mark Andrews to score a touchdown at plus 150. No Zay Flowers. That's a big help. He has a touchdown in 6 straight games. He's been a huge red zone target. Started off the year with 5 straight games with no touchdowns. Since then, 11 touchdown catch. I mean, that's like Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, like type of touchdown numbers. 11 touchdowns since then. And the Steelers, they allowed 7 touchdowns to tight ends, 8th worst in the league. I think he's going to be a big, important red zone target for Lamar Jackson. So plus 150, I can't pass that one up.
Yeah, listen, I got no opinion on the Mark Andrews one, but the Jalen Hurts one, what makes sense is ultimately up or down. This is a running first team. What concerns me, though, brother, is this Green Bay defense. They're coming into this game playing the best they've been playing all year, and they do get interceptions. I'm going to be curious to see how that one plays out. Golf. I am literally sitting and looking at the 10th hole right now at the Polo Club in Boca Raton. We got a golf tournament that is underway, the Sony Open. You got a bet for us on Brian Harmon.
Yeah, let's just take him in round 2. This is over in Hawaii. Let's take him to shoot under 68.5. He was really good yesterday. Shot 66 for 4 under, up near the top of the leaderboard. And this is a course that sets up well for him. You don't have to be very long off the tee, and that's one of his biggest weaknesses. He kind of struggled last year. His career year was 2023, got a major win. But last year, he just kind of he's a much better golfer than what he showed last year. And last week, he was awful. He finished almost dead last. But what happened in round one? He got back to his roots, which is hitting fairways, hitting greens, making putts. He birdied the 2 par 5s, which is essential. All he needs to do is shoot 3 under or lower to cash this one. I'm sorry, 2 under. That's the beauty. There's 2 par 5s. If he birdies those and pars the rest of them, this bet is going to cash. I really like what I saw from him. I expect him to keep improving. So I'll take Brian Harman under 68.5. This is a round 2, and this goes off at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you have plenty of time to put this one in.
There we go, Andy Lang. Andy, we had Kyle Anthony on yesterday and Gianni. Both of them talked UFC. You do UFC as well. And just like those two guys, you're ridiculous. I'm going to ask head office, let's come on next week and have a promo for all 3 of you guys. Let's package the whole gang, because I'll tell you what, man. I think as one of the owners of WagerTalk, I think I'll put our UFC bettors against any group of UFC bettors on the planet. Go put an all-star team together, our competitors. Go find who you think are the 3 greatest UFC bettors. Bring them freaking on, man, because nobody is beating Andy, Kyle, and Gianni at the sport. So let's try get a 3-for-1 up next week. I'm going to leave that in your hands, Andy.
Wow.
You got a prop bet for us. What is it?
that is a hell of a deal. Listen, I had a good year in UFC, and Kyle and Gianni killed me.
I know.
I was
it's
happy.
nuts.
I
know.
I was really happy with my year, and I'm like, I'm third. Damn. So you're right. I understand that we brag a lot and we talk about being the best, and no, look at all these records. I'm with you. UFC, I'll put us up against anybody. Absolutely. Anybody on the planet, I will put us up against there. And I think that's a hell of a deal. So, here's a little prop here. Euros Medic to win inside the distance is plus money, and I just can't pass this one up. I love his nickname. His last name is Medic, so his nickname is the Doctor. Prez, this guy loves violence. 12 professional fights. None of them have gone the distance. He's 10-2, and every single one of his wins is inside the distance. This guy just finishes fights. He's fighting Soriano. This guy's been knocked out and choked out in his last 2 losses. He dropped down a weight division, and he got a really easy opponent who just was awful, and he won this really boring, uninspiring fight. Medic is not going to let this happen to be a boring fight. Soriano does not throw very many punches. He doesn't have good volume. He doesn't have good pressure. Medic is going to be able to walk through anything that Soriano throws at him, and it's only a matter of time before Medic catches him on the chin. I think Soriano's a little bit chinny, and to get plus money on inside the distance on a guy that's never gone the distance, yeah, absolutely sign me up on Medic to get the KO here.
There we go. Andy freaking Lang, everybody. Andy, what do you got going for the clients?
We got our UFC best bet. We got our NFL prop pack that is up for the weekend. I've been talking all week about tennis. You guys know all about that. 30 days of tennis for $59. Those plays are going to start coming out tonight. WT.buzz/AL. And we have the promo code Andy365 for 365 days for only $99 a month. That's a 65% markdown. So there's no better time to get long-term investment. If you want something short-term, I cannot stress enough to get that tennis pack if you haven't locked those in. Get those plays. We're going to be coming hard and heavy in the first few rounds, so expect a lot of profits coming in at the start of next week. I know the focus is on college football and NFL. I totally understand it. The way we operate, we find these soft spots in the market. Tennis is one of them. We're going to cash on that. WT.buzz/AL. Good luck on your bets, and we'll see everyone next week.
Love having you with us, Andy Lang. Jesus, this show is getting better and better by the day. Shout out to all you guys in the chat room, Fortnort, Bill, Andrew, Pezzi, Mark, Brock, Javier. Really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day. And if you guys are watching this show after we put it up. Try and log in every now and again and watch the show live, because we've got a ton of incredible talent in the chat room as well. Russell, Deck, B Daddy. These guys bet every day just like we do. They know their stuff. It's a fun chat room to be involved in. So if you're watching the show after the fact, log in one day, check us out live. And also, guys, if you don't mind, please hit that like button. Man, hitting that like button is literally mandatory for everyone in the chat room. Right now, we have hundreds of you in the chat room. We have 32 likes. I am absolutely baffled. I think we're doing a great job. You guys are taking time to come on and watch the show live. Just take a second and hit that like button. It's crucial for us from a business perspective. Dave Mason from Bet Online is joining us. And Dave, forget all the pleasantries. There's too much going on. What do we do in tonight's college football semifinal game?
Yeah, man. Fun weekend of football. I love it. Well, we're going to be rooting for Texas pretty big. I mean, 70% of tickets and 60% of the cash is on Ohio State laying 6. Little two-way sharp action, mostly on Texas, and under 54 as well. So, yeah, we'll need Texas big tonight.
Dave Mason joining us from betonline.ag, an incredible sportsbook, a great guy, and a sportsbook that I personally have an account at and utilize. So check them out. We have Gianni right after him, and Gianni and I are going to go through every NFL game on the board. Dave, speaking of NFL, help us out here, man. Help us navigate this card. What type of bets are you taking? Where's the money going? And who does Dave Mason like?
Yeah, I'll go down one by one. I'll give you the public act. Hello?
Yeah, please.
Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. I'll go down the card one by one. Chargers laying 3 at Houston, of course. That kicks off the action. 58% of cash, 64% of the tickets are on the Bolts. Steelers getting 10 at Baltimore, ton of points, 68% of the cash, 62% of the tickets are on Pittsburgh. Broncos plus 9.5 at Buffalo. It's pretty choppy. 52% of the cash, 55% of the bettors are on the Bills. Packers getting 5 in Philly. 53% of cash is on Green Bay, but 68% of the tickets is on Philly. Then the Commanders getting a field goal on Tampa. 61% of the money's on Washington. 56% of the bettors on the Bucks. And then Vikings, of course, this one got moved, so we had to void the original market and open up a new market. So there's not a lot of money on it yet, but everything we've taken has been on the Vikings. They're currently 2.5-point favorites, 95% of cash, and 6% of bettors are on Minnesota. Sharp, we got Mini, -half, -110. Washington +3, -101. Little two-way, Green Bay +5.5, Philly -3.5, Washington +152, Washington, Tampa Bay under 51, LAC, Houston under 43.5.
Wow. Dave Mason, great stuff. You surprised about this Minnesota Rams line? Money coming in on Minnesota, yet we have the tragedy angle in play.
Yeah, I mean, it's God. I hate even talking about this stuff, but it is part of the business, right?
It's what we do, Dave. Dave, it's what we do. I mean,
exactly.
Listen,
it's like you almost feel guilty sending emails within the company. Hey, this happened. How we handle this? Remember to get in line, get our ducks in a row. And it's like, oh God, but that's what we do, right? I mean, it's part of the business. So and it's escape for the players. We bet and do this stuff to be entertained too. So yeah, I mean, it's basically a neutral site now, right? I mean, it's we had Vikings, I think -1. It bounced back and forth. Rams -1, Vikings -1, but it closed. I guess the original market closed at Vikings -1, and then we reopened at -2, and it was getting bet, and now it's up to -2.5. So, who knows how all that emotional stuff can come into play with the Rams? Again, I hate talking about handicapping that stuff, but it's a nugget, right? So, will be a distraction, or will the team come together? I don't know, but it's 2.5 now. Everybody's betting the Vikings.
Hey, Dave, you go through history, some of the biggest, most delicious wealth achievements have been in the middle of tragedies. So,
Right.
we are sports bettors. We're looking for angles. We want to make money.
Sure.
And obviously our hearts go out to everybody that is sitting there. But it is an interesting situation with the Rams because, on one hand, they have a lot of worry. They obviously live in that area. And on the other hand, and we saw this with New Orleans with Katrina,
Yep.
and they want to give their fans something to cheer about. Dave, is there any prop bet? I'm putting you on the spot. You might not have this handy, but is there a prop bet out there that we should jump on that you are constantly seeing or taking?
No, I haven't even looked at the props, to tell you the truth. I'm getting locked down these spreads. I let my man Adam Burns deal with all the prop stuff. So, I know we're going to need Texas as far as futures for the college football championship. Ohio State's decent too. Notre Dame's about to break even. So we'll be Texas fans in the futures market. As far as the Super Bowl market, we're looking great there. The only loss for us right now is Kansas City. Everybody else is a win. So,
well, there you go. Any hoops tonight?
I'll throw a little sharp action out there. You got Niagara, Pick'em in college, Toledo -4, better UCLA +5, NBA really only right at this point, Oklahoma City 4 or better. So not too much yet.
Okay, perfect stuff. Dave Mason from Bet Online. He joins us every Friday. We are so appreciative of your time, Dave. What do you have to promote?
BetOnline.ag, come on over, man. It's time to go. Playoffs are here. We have the earliest opening odds for all the NFL and college football openers. We have a contest for the college football or rather NFL playoff pick'em, $25,000 on the line. That's cash prizes. Just need to give us a little bit of action to qualify for prizes. If you don't have an account, get over onto the sign up page, and then we have some 50% sign up bonus. That's a cash 0 rollover bonus. So get on over to betonline.ag this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. And like I told everybody already, I have an account there. I love Bet Online. Thanks for doing this every single week, brother. And I hope you guys get what you need and have a wonderful weekend. Dave Mason, everybody.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Excellent stuff. Dave Mason. I'd like to kick their ass this week, but that's a whole different story. Okay, guys, we got Gianni the Greek joining us in a second. We're going to take apart every NFL game on the board. Really quickly, I got an NHL bet to give out. I'm going to be super fast with this as we are up against it. I do have one NHL play for my clients going tonight. You can get that over at WagerTalk. It is a total bet. I'm on a 14-3 NHL run. As for your free play tonight, guys, I'm going to make this really easy. Washington is playing Montreal. And although I have looked to bet unders in Montreal games throughout the year, this is now an over team moving forward. This Montreal team, listen to this, last 10 games, 7 of the last 10 games, they have scored 3 or more goals. Every one of their last 10 games, they've put up at least 2. 6 of their last 10 have been 4 or more goals. Montreal is scoring at a rapid pace. And although they are playing better defensively, they don't have a world-class goalie. They don't have a world-class defense. And this Washington team is one of the top scoring teams in the league. They have changed their entire style of play in 1 year, and I'm a huge fan of their coach, Spencer something or other. I like the over in this game, guys. It's 6. I think we're going to get both teams to 3, so that's an immediate win right there. Join me. Let's go with over the total in Washington and Montreal. Gianni the Greek joining us. 6-7 minutes left to go. How are you, my friend?
Devon Energy, I got in. I told you guys if you bought around $30, $31, we're looking to make 20%. It got to 37 today. I'm out. I made 2 other quick swing trades. I got in on Wolf. It's a semiconductor at 5.11. And I also got the Treasury, TLT, 10-year Treasury at 85.45. 2 quick swing trades for you. PGA round 2, 72.02. Glover minus 130 up to minus 140 against Phillips, and Davis up to minus 140 against Horschel. Real quickly, those are just some things I wanted to share. Let's get into it, brother.
Okay, firstly, you look outstanding.
Thank you, Prez.
Healthy.
Happy,
Yeah, you look happy. And that's something you weren't 2 years ago when we had dinner. I'm glad to see all of this, Gianni.
Thank you.
So, what if I put 10K in a E-Trade account and we day trade together?
Let's have some fun, bro. Let's have some fun. Any day. I'd love to do it with you. I'd love to do it, Prez.
So I'm away next week. I'm on the show, but I'm not in town. When I get back, I'm going to put 10 grand in an account, and we're going to day trade together, and we're going to let people know what we're doing and how we're doing it. With that said, full disclosure, we don't know what we're doing.
We're guessing.
But we're going to have fun doing it. So starting not this Monday, but the Monday after, we're going to do some day trading live on air. Why the hell not? Okay, dude, NFL, that's where we're going. Well, firstly, real quick, and then we'll go to NFL. What's going on with tonight's game, Ohio State and Texas?
And not surprising, the 5.5s that were out there are back to 6, even seeing 6 with some juice. Ohio State's going to be the risk for the books. There's no surprise there. I got a future on Ohio State at about 5-1. I made a disclosure. I like Texas tonight at +6. I'm hoping I catch lightning in a bottle and it lands in between. I just think you're paying a little too much for Ohio State. They are the best team in college football. They're the number 1 power rated team. They're probably 2.5 points, 3 points better than anyone else. But the recency bias at how good they look, how bad Texas look, you're paying an extra 2.5 points for that. Otherwise, I just let it ride. But I do have the Ohio State side. And remember that teaser that the betting syndicates got down on with Penn State tied to Ohio State. They're letting it roll. They're letting it ride. I know that. None of the guys that I bet it for told me to grab the points with the other side tonight. So that none of them are taking Texas. I just think I'm going to hedge a little bit of my Texas, hopefully hit a middle.
You know, Gianni, once we slow down and get some breathing room and get past the college football and NFL playoffs, we're going to talk a whole lot of betting strategy, you and I together. And I want to do a deep dive into this hedging concept, because I know a lot of people do it. I'm radically against it. So I do want to delve into that because why are you radically against hedging? Stay with us all the way through till the end of time, and we'll get there, guys. Hit that like button, everybody. Okay, Chargers, Houston, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I'm going to start this off. I like the over in the Chargers game. I know it is tough to bet overs in Houston right now with their offense slightly out of sync. But this Charger team is putting up 28, 30 points almost every game right now. Their defense has taken a step backwards. Houston should be able to get us a soft number to get us to over 42.5. That line is low to me. That's where I'm going. I like the over in this game. You?
I really like the Houston side, and the reason for me was pretty simple. I thought this line has a ton of recency bias to it. I have just one game to compare to, so I don't need to go long. Bottom line is this. Not long ago, what was that? A couple weeks? Houston closed at Kansas City as plus 3.5 point dogs on the road at Kansas City. Now they're getting that many points, 3 points at home against the Chargers. Absolutely makes no sense. Win or lose, I think you're getting the best of it with Houston, and all the problems sadly with the Chargers. Practice has been, affected. Their families have been affected. This is their 3rd straight road game. I mean, there's a lot of negatives on the Chargers side. I'm a little bit surprised the public's so one-sided on this. They just don't believe in Houston at all.
Well, I mean, Gianni, the last team Houston beat with a winning record was the Bills, and that was like 5 years ago. So it was 23-10. The Bills were coming off a big game. It was a horrible spot. I mean, from a strength of schedule perspective, I fully understand why the public likes the Chargers. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Pittsburgh and Baltimore right now is an outright pass for me. I want to bet the over. I don't think I can, and this Pittsburgh offense is completely out of sync. What's going on in that game?
Yeah, they've really been sputtering down the stretch, and it's really obvious. These two teams are so well known to each other. I mean, that the rivalry, the playing twice a year, they've already seen each other just a couple weeks ago. But the number is so high, it almost tells you there's got to be a reason for it. Because if you look over the last 10 games, there's only twice between these two that the line has been above a touchdown. It's usually expected to be extremely competitive. I got a future on Baltimore. I'm not looking to hedge this, but I can tell you, one of the groups I work with did take the 10 on Pittsburgh. So the sharp money is taking the double digits on the Pittsburgh side. I can't blame them, man. I mean, again, they've looked so bad down the stretch. But I'm passing on the side, passing on the total so far. Just going to keep my Baltimore ticket. No hedge or attempt there. Just going to keep that future.
Guys, Gianni's doing the Steam Room. It's this Sunday at 11 a.m. That's this Sunday at 11 a.m. Am I reading this right? It's a 2.5 hour show.
Yeah, it's not even a show. It's just live, nothing scripted, no, nothing like that. I'm just, all the information that's coming in, that's time sensitive, they get to see what I'm talking about. When I give them the play, they can look on the odds screen at WagerTalk, and they will see that thing light up within 2 or 3 minutes. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And a lot of the information I get that I can't use for subscribers, especially now that I'm a lot lower volume, that Steam Room is a blessing for me. And more importantly, I got to be accountable to my people each and every week and go over to money management, where we are to date, where you should be to date, and how to help bettors, avoid some of those mistakes. So yeah, we'll be in there for at least 2 hours heading into kickoff on Sunday. So make sure you join us. It's going to be open. I wanted to open it up to everybody to start the NFL playoffs. So make sure you get the link from WagerTalk. I'll tweet it out as well. Thanks for bringing that up, Prez. We're going to have a lot of fun on Sunday.
Yeah. When you got hair that good, stop wearing hats, bro. Plus, they don't help in the balding process, by the way. But Denver and Buffalo, I'll make this easy. Buffalo first half -6 is the bet for me here, and I'll give you a real quick reason why. I have a lot of reasons, but real quick, we're up against it. This Buffalo team, teams like Buffalo, teams like Kansas City, Baltimore, Philly, teams that are in this situation every year, they've waited all year for this game. Everything was practice until this game. They are going to come out flying. I like Buffalo -6 in the first half.
Can't disagree with you at all. I like the over. I think we're going to see a ton of points from Buffalo. Denver's not going to be able to stop them. Like you said, Buffalo's been waiting for this home game. Doesn't matter what the weather is. This team will put up a lot of points. And because of that, I think Denver will help them get the game over the total. I can tell you that one of the groups that I share stuff with, I didn't bet it, but someone else bet it for them. They take the 9 on the Steelers, on Denver, forgive me. They took +9 on Denver. That's why you're looking at a lot of 8.5s. But we just had Dave Mason on. And if you look at what BetOnline has at the WagerTalk odds screen, you will see that they're at 9.5. So he knows, come on in and get the 9.5. I know you guys want the 9. I'll give you the 9.5. So it seems he's willing to take a position that Buffalo's going to blow this team out. And why? Well, how could I disagree? Rookie quarterback on the road against this team, favored or pass for me, brother. But I like the over a lot more.
I'm with you there, and there's always one huge blowout. Philly, Green Bay. Man. Too much injury situation. I think this might be a pass for me.
Love or Willis? I mean, obviously, it looks like Love based on the betting line, because I think it would be 3-4 points higher had that not been the case. Because of the drop off. Hurts has been limited in practice. That's been the question. In fact, we were talking about that at the UFC. I said that's nonsense. He's passing all the protocol for concussion. This line would have been way affected if he's not going to play. So I could understand the love for the Philadelphia side, and I can't disagree. I cannot disagree. I think 6 or less, you got to look to Philadelphia. I don't think this is a good spot for Green Bay. But if Green Bay is able to beat Philadelphia, this is a team I wish I'd have a future on, because that's where I think they're dangerous. If they could win this first-round game on the road, not the team you want to face. So maybe look at a future on Green Bay rather than taking the 5 here. Sprinkle something small there. You'll get a better number.
Very interesting, very creative. Just to let everybody know, Dan just let me know, right as the show started, Hertz was fully cleared.
There you go.
Washington and Tampa Bay, my brother. Listen, dude, I got Tampa Bay making a run. So let's see what happens. I just got a feeling like I just got a good feeling about this Tampa Bay team. And again, we got a rookie quarterback on the road. Washington's defense is not good enough for a run. Not that Tampa Bay's is, but man, there's something special going on between Baker and Evans. I like Tampa Bay here. Where are you going? And then we got to call this a show.
I agree. I like the Tampa Bay side as well at 2.5, 2.5, which most of the books had opened at. They got steamed up to 3 juice, 3.5. That's where you saw another sharp group come in and take the 3.5. So there's a difference of opinion between betting syndicates at -2.5, 3, and plus 3.5.
Right.
I listened to Adam Chernoff talk about just how good Jaden Daniels is against the blitz. He's number 2. And of course, that's all Tampa Bay is going to do. Blitz, blitz, blitz. But they're getting their secondary players back. And I think that's going to be the difference maker there. I like Tampa Bay at home as well. I wish that sharp money didn't come in at 3.5 and it would have kept going to 4 or higher. But I just think Tampa is the right side at home. Rookie quarterback on the road like you touched on. Yep. And as lucky as they've been on 4th down this entire season, I don't think that carries over into the playoffs. Give me Tampa or nothing at all.
That's the show. Guys, enjoy the semifinals tonight. Have an amazing Wildcard weekend. Gianni, we'll see you on Tuesday, right? Tuesday,
yes,
Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes,
love
sir.
having
yes,
you
sir.
on. Guys, thanks for watching. Been a great week. Make sure to check out the Steam Room at 11 a.m. on Sunday. You can find it at WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. Shout out to Marco, Andy, Dave Mason, and Gianni, all you guys in the chat room, and our producer, Dan. See you Monday.